This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, planning your trip to Walt Disney World shouldn't be very hard. In fact, shouldn't be hard at all. The good travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan that next trip to Walt Disney World to make it that much easier on yourself. They can help you throughout any step of the process. If you need to have your hand held throughout the whole thing, not a problem. If you're a veteran like us and you want to be able to just, kind of have the main stuff done for you so you can focus on planning that trip specifically, not a problem at all. They can help you regardless of how much or how little you need. MEI and Mouse Fan Travel trip planners can help you do all that. And the best part, it's free to you. It's included in the package price. No additional cost. Check them out online at www.mousefantravel.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, November 24th, 2010, and this is episode 803 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Well, I guess since it's Wednesday and we don't have a show on Thursday, happy Thanksgiving, Len.
Happy Thanksgiving, Matt. How are you?
Good. I will give thanks this year for health, good job, baby on the way, and of course Bob Selinger.
Hey, me too. Isn't that weird? Except for the whole baby thing.
Except the baby thing. That's time to come clean, Len. Come on.
No. Really, it's good. It's all good.
You can also throw in Henry there if you want to. I mean,
do you know what I'm not thankful for though? I seem to have lost the love of my dog. It's a long story. It's a long, complicated story.
Say it ain't so. Little Rosie?
Little Rosie. I'm now Rosie's second favorite. It's a long, sordid story. I know. I have good days and bad days about this, but I'm trying to move on. It's important that we're all friends.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, where does Mr. Voice rank on your thankful list?
It's funny you say that because I'm talking to him now in chat.
That's awesome.
That's tough because we get so many people that help out on the show, the behind the scenes that you don't see. Mr. Voice, Philip, Chris Eliopoulos, all those guys.
And he's not worth it. He's a bum.
Who?
Chris, that didn't come from me, Chris.
He's the man.
The next time you draw us, Chris.
Drink together. I might even be buying.
One thing I want to mention, I don't think we've ever talked this on the show, but if you listen to Mouse World Radio, you'll hear the weather report for Orlando every day. Like if you're listening to it on Tuesday, December 4th or whatever, that's not the date, but you know what I mean?
Right.
You'll hear the weather report for Orlando on Mr. Voice does those every single day. How cool is that?
He sends me one every day, and what's great about it is he'll say, it's a great night to hang out at, Food and Wine or something like that. It really makes you sound like you're there.
Yeah, it's really cool. So definitely, not like everyone really needed a reason to listen to Mouse World Radio before, but it's a really cool thing to check out. So
thank you. He does a great job. Thanks, Rick.
Also joining us on today's show is who you refer to him by his real name.
He is on staff.
Mike Scopa of allears.net. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, everybody, all together now. Mama, don't work. Little Buford, where were you?
It's been a little while since I saw the Country Bears, but Country Bears.
My.
There
nice.
blood
on the saddle.
Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and also the WW Today Thanksgiving cook. So Annette, we're looking forward to our Thanksgiving meal tomorrow.
Yeah,
what you making?
Mom's cooking. Come on.
I'll be over on 11:45.
Perfect. We eat at 12.
I'll bring the pecan pie.
Well, it's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions, and our first question for today comes from Enrique of Miami, Florida.
Enrique Iglesias?
Yes, in fact, it is the same man.
I love it.
Maybe he sings better than you guys, just saying.
That's really not difficult, but go ahead.
I would like to begin by saying that Len is a good man.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we go.
This isn't going to go well.
No.
I want us to be friends, letter. Go ahead.
I saw the Twitter post and pic of what Len paid for the drinks he treated to all the listeners that showed up at Epcot. Yes, the famous La Cantina meet over it. That was during the Food and Wine race weekend.
Yeah. Who says that money can't buy happiness? I don't know. Those people don't know where to shop.
Secondly, I wanted to say I got a glimpse of Len and Scopa at the Wine and Dine Marathon in Corral B. I was going to say hello, but too many people in between. I didn't want to mess up my time. By the way, I completed the half marathon with a time of 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Wow, very nice. 2:11 is not a bad time at all.
I'm registered for the Disney Half Marathon in January 2011. Hopefully, the cold Arctic air doesn't come down like it did last year. Is Scopa and Len participating in the race?
Well, if Scopa's coming, it's snowing, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah. I think Scopa's running the half and I'm running the full.
Yep.
Okay. My question is the following. Is there an official or unofficial after-race party for the participants? Go Dolphins.
They're doing something the next day at the Magic Kingdom, right? Everyone gets admission into the Magic Kingdom? Or is it theme park?
No, it's just for the full one.
Is it just for the full?
Yeah. If you run the full, your medal gets you free admission into the park on Monday.
Oh, interesting.
I will tell you, Enrique, that in past years there's been quite a number of events that have been held that weekend by different communities on Disney Internet communities, like there's maybe an All Ears Meet or WW Radio. So be sure to kind of keep an eye out for those kinds of things. And that may not be what you're referring to, but there's usually a good gathering of other Disney geeks that you might want to participate in. But are there any other official events that you guys can think of?
No, I think it's usually the day before. So if he's running the half or the full, Enrique.
Sounds like it's around the half. I think.
Yeah, the half. I think so.
So I mean, that's Sunday. I would say just check to see what the running communities have set. You're probably not going to want to do much on Friday. Saturday, obviously, you've got your race. You might want to go back to the hotel and kind of relax a little bit after that. But yeah, see what they're doing on Sunday.
Next email's from Marty Doherty of Chicago, Illinois.
Marty.
Hi, gang. Love the show. I have a quick question for you regarding a trip I have coming up soon. Hopefully you guys can... No, we didn't. No. Since my folks took me as a kid, I'm returning the favor for their 40th wedding anniversary. Yep. Both of them are in their late 60s, early 70s, and my mom had some trouble getting around. She's not in a wheelchair, but I fear the walking down there may be too much for her. The guide makes a reference to renting the wheelchair or an electric scooter. Can you elaborate on this? Are they rented at the parks? And if so, do they sell out quickly? Do I need to get there at a certain time to reserve them? Can I call ahead to reserve them? I'd much rather rent one at one park instead of having one for the whole trip. I think my mom would be embarrassed by the bus service with the scooter. It's kind of a hassle and holds up the bus.
Yes, you can rent wheelchairs at each of the parks, and that's probably the least obtrusive thing to do if that's the thing that you're most concerned with. And if your mom doesn't need it to get from the resort to, say, the Disney transportation, that's definitely the way to go. Yeah,
they offer regular wheelchairs that someone has to push, and they have ECVs, which are the electric wheelchairs. Obviously, the costs are different for the electric. The ECVs can cost you more money. I can't recall there being a sellout problem. I mean, I guess
no. I mean, usually they've got plenty, especially if you get there early. The one thing I would notice is that the deposit varies by location. So at the theme parks, I think that what's the deposit, like $20, $25, something like that.
Right.
It's a small deposit. At Downtown Disney, the deposit's like $100.
Yeah, I will say also that there are services, third-party services that will rent ECVs to you, and they can be cheaper than Disney, but you have to do your homework. But of course, Marty mentioned his mom didn't want to be driving around, the resort and everything like that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention them.
I'll just throw it out there as an option, Marty. Perhaps the money savings will be, more compelling for your mom than the. So it's up to you guys.
One other thing.
Something to remember. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say something to remember is sometimes your room is not very close to a bus stop.
That's true.
So, it could be a heck of a hike to the bus stop.
Yeah, we talked about this in a couple episodes ago where, it could be an easy half-mile walk to the bus stop from your room, depending on what resort you're staying at and the particular bus stop you choose to leave from.
Yeah, good point.
The other thing I would say is at the deluxe resorts, I know and I think the moderates as well, you can pay for your wheelchair and stroller rental at your hotel's gift shop. Mm-hmm. So you avoid standing in line at the theme parks. And
you just have like a little voucher thing you show.
Show your receipt, right? And then you can do that. That saves a little bit of time, especially if you're already going to pick up some coffee or something at the hotel before you leave for the theme park.
And don't forget, Marty, if you are planning to do like a full day park touring and you want to make sure you're there at park opening, give yourself a little extra time because you're going to have to take a little bit of time to rent. The rental stuff is all inside the park gates. So it's going to take a little bit of time. So you have to give yourself that kind of time if you're planning that way.
Yeah, good. That's a good point. That's usually a great point.
Next email is from Ed from St. Pete, Florida. Hey guys, love the show. I'm a recent Disney nerd and have just moved to Florida in June, and I'm getting a resident pass.
Okay.
My wife and I have been debating something we witnessed in the Magic Kingdom. While leaving the park and waiting in line at the monorail, we saw 2 deer munching on grass between the platform and the lagoon.
They
I believe
look so real. Go ahead.
I believe that they were released by Disney as a little extra bit of magic for guests to see on my way out. My wife thinks that they were just wild animals that managed to cross multiple lanes of traffic, work their way around the lagoon, and had decided to deal with the screams of thousands of tired children. Any clue as to who is right?
I would bet your wife.
No, I think it's the reverse. I think it's the...
You think Disney is letting deer?
Oh, no, sorry. I thought...
They're leading them out and just propping them there. And
No, they
And then
just...
what? Then they're shooting them with tranquilizer darts at the end of the night when their shift is over. Is that what happens?
Well, they did used to release doves at Epcot.
animatronic.
How does that work?
Yeah, no, sorry, I got it confused. Yeah, the deer... the deer happened to just be there.
Hi, Nate.
My second question deals with going to the parks by myself while my wife works long hours as a pediatric resident. If I were to take her pass with me, would I be able to get it to double the fast passes? No, you can't, because you have to have your tickets have to be activated at the turnstile.
Right.
Right. If you could somehow fake getting in with her pass, that would work.
Right.
So if you could make if she's a doctor, right?
Yes.
So she has access to stuff to make prosthetics. You could actually make a prosthetic copy of her index finger.
Here we go.
I'm just going to go out on a limb that the lack of a second fast pass is probably an easier solution than going about the...
So you go in.
You can make a prosthetic finger. You can make a mold, a plastic mold. Everyone's got a few days off for Thanksgiving. What the heck? You can do this. You can do this with some plaster, right? A plaster mold. Seriously, she probably has everything.
Lynn.
she probably has everything she needs at work to make a fake finger that he could use to bypass the biometric stuff in Walt Disney World.
And please have Henry start working on that. Just go to touringplans.com/fakefinger for the directions on how to do this.
You could probably go to Michael's and get all this stuff.
and use your 40% off coupon that they usually throw in the mail.
All that to get a fast pass. Wow.
I really have to try this now. I'm going to make one of my own finger and try it.
Next email is
This is what I'm doing for a reunion. I'm telling you right now.
He's not kidding people.
I'm really not kidding. I'm actually writing it down.
Sir,
I'm actually writing it down now.
Sir, why do you have a finger in your backpack? Don't we all?
Lane, could you give me the finger, please?
Exactly.
Next email is from Christine DeLawrence of suburban Philadelphia, who writes, Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and most times Annette. My name is Christine. I'm a longtime listener and probably qualified for a WDW 10-step program years ago. Even though I'm a pro at planning our Walt Disney World vacations, as well as doing more than a fair job at planning our cruise wedding back in 2000, I'm a bit cowed. C-O-W-E-D. Code?
Howard?
I don't know. She's not that good at planning her first Disney Cruise Line trip, and I'm wondering if you could be interested in helping out. My husband and I have been talking about Disney's Land Sea trip with the kids to celebrate our 10th anniversary for a few years now, and as we are approaching it, life has intervened and we won't be able to swing the trip until 2011. Yeah. Although we weren't married on DCL, our first choice, but had schedule conflicts, my loving husband of the last almost 10 years did get down on his knee next to Cinderella's wishing well to give me my engagement ring, so our celebration plans are fitting. Our kids are currently 8 years old and 4 years old, and even though our daughter is quite the Walt Disney World veteran, our son has only been once at 2 years old, so although we would like to enjoy a cruise, we don't want to shortchange the land portion as well. What's the perfect balance? Which should be first, and what's the perfect length for our first Disney Cruise Line experience? Annette, what do you think?
3 is just too short, in my opinion. You really just need to go for that 4-day cruise if you can swing it. It is kind of hard because it starts on a Sunday. So if you're trying to pull kids out of school, you're taking them out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you want that day at sea to enjoy the ship.
I agree.
So you really, if it's a 3-night cruise, seriously, by the time you've unpacked, it's time to pack it back up again. You really want that day at sea. But you can go with Disney's Land and Sea package, or you can do them separate. And then you can stay where you want to stay at Disney World and then go and do the cruise. Or I've gone both ways, where I've gone the cruise first and then done land, and done it the other way. It's really your preference. Do you want to relax at the beginning of your vacation or at the end?
What's the advantage of doing a Land and Sea package that Disney offers?
You're able to check in for the cruise, and the same room key that you use for your room will then be your room key on the ship. But you definitely can pick and choose a little bit more. A lot of people want a different type of accommodation on the ship than on land. They're pretty happy with Pop Century, which isn't really, you want Pop Century and maybe a balcony. So, you got to play with the balance on it. But a lot of times you can get the specials that Disneyland's having. So if they have a ticket special or a room only discount or something like that, you can do that if you purchase it separate and directly, do it directly with the land portion and then do the sea separate. If you do a land and sea package, it's a set price. It won't adjust for any kind of specials that Disney World has.
Gotcha. Next email's from Chris Holloman of Durham, North Carolina. I have a question about an ultimate touring plan. Has anyone ever attempted to tour the attractions in the Magic Kingdom that exist also in Disneyland? Is it possible to ride Space Mountain, Pirates, Haunted Mansion, etc., then run to the airport, catch a direct flight to LAX, and ride the West Coast versions? The flight could be done in less than 6 hours, but with the time change, you would only lose a few hours. Maybe you could catch Magic Kingdom on a day with an early extra magic hours, and Disneyland with evening extra magic hours. What do you think?
Lynn, sign up and do it. Go try it out for us.
I think it's entirely possible. Let me.
You'd have to, if you
do
get
the next question, we can come in. If you guys want to edit the question out, I can get an answer for you in 5 minutes.
Henry, get on that.
Henry?
Henry!
Oh, while Len's working on that. Next email is from Robert in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Did he take the last train?
And only recently listened to episode 681.
Nothing?
What a great show.
God.
We drove down from Middle Tennessee every year. This year's trip will be number 7. And that show conjured up all kinds of memories. I wanted to come...
Middle Tennessee?
Middle Tennessee. That's what he wrote. Anyway, I wanted to comment on the Ocala Walt Disney World Welcome Station. We stopped there on our very first trip down, purchased our first autograph books there. The children were 5 at the time. And met our first ADRs there. Ah, memories. We stopped at the exit on our most recent trip number 6, October 2009, to get a bite to eat, and then drove over to where the welcome station used to be. Wish it was still there. Anyway, love the show. Keeps my Disney fix satisfied throughout the year. I listen to the Mouse World Radio all the time, and also enjoy the unofficial guide.
Thank you.
The Ocala station, I never got a chance to go there. Mike, who was it? You, Newell, who went there? Somebody on the show. Oh, Annette?
No.
The Ocala, Florida, which is about an hour from Orlando in the north direction. They used to have you could book rooms and stuff like that. Was there someone on the show that stopped there?
Mike?
Oh yeah,
Not me.
drive.
We've all done it.
No.
Ocala, no,
Not
I've
me.
never done it.
Not me.
You did it? Len,
No.
you did it?
I've done it.
I guess it's Len then.
I think it's Lynn.
Fond memories of that one?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you get souvenirs, you get little brochures for all of the area attractions. It was a hoot to read all of this, even if you didn't go to Disney World.
Was that a Biff the Wonder Car ride down there?
No,
or
it
was
was with
that
my grandparents back in the day,
back in the day?
back in like the
Back
70s.
in the day.
Yeah, it was-
And then you were saying nobody's ever going to rock like Kiss.
wasn't a huge Kiss fan back in the day. It was
Who was your 70s band then? Before
oh man,
Van
my
Halen.
70s band. I don't know that I had a band in the 70s. I really don't remember much before 1982.
you just heard about this wild rocker coming out of California?
Yeah, it was. I just don't remember. It's not that I anything was wrong. My sister and I always have this conversation. My twin sister that she has all the memories growing up, and I have to ask her whether I actually did something or not. I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't good at paying attention when I was a kid. I don't know.
You get hit in the head a few too many times.
That's it. Well, there's actually when I get my hair cut, it's short enough to notice that I have a scar on my hairline, and it's from a childhood accident. But I like to tell people this from where my sister pushed me down the stairs when we were young.
So do you have an answer yet, Len, for that other question about...
So we do. So it's entirely possible to do this. I think there's a. So here's how it would work. You would, on a morning extra magic hour in the Magic Kingdom, you would go and see Space Mountain, and what else would be in Tomorrowland that would be the same? Buzz Lightyear, right?
Right.
Then you'd have to go see Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean. You'd have to hightail it to the Orlando airport, where there's an 11:55 a.m. flight on Continental that connects through Houston and arrives in Orange County at 4:33 p.m., giving you plenty of time to make it to Disneyland and rewrite all the attractions again. And I think actually, and here's the thing, it's under $200 for this one-way flight.
I think you have to
I
send
think
Henry.
we have to do this, actually. I think we have to do this.
Whatever Henry's leaving to go back home,
You know what? Reunion 2011. There and back in 24 hours.
that should be the meet. Annette, can you book that for us?
There we
You
go.
take the-
We'll just
you-
charter
you
a
take the
plane.
red eye
There we
back.
go.
You take the red eye back.
Newell live show the entire way.
Yeah, there you go.
Why couldn't we do that during reunion one day? One 24-hour period.
Oh my God.
Why couldn't we do it?
It's just...
If you think about it, if you're staying in a moderate, you wouldn't need the hotel that night. You would just take the plane ticket.
Len, we have the technology. We can rebuild him.
Oh, this is so good. Oh, all right. So, listeners, please remind me of this for my meet next year. I will take one lucky listener with me in the touringplanes.com team.
That'll be Janine, probably. Oh, yay.
Just go home.
I don't need a return ticket. It's cool. Thanks.
Next email is from Donna in Hawaii. Aloha all. I'm fairly new to your podcast, but have quickly become a fan. Thanks for a great show. I have a few comments about episode 686. There was a question about buying bottled water. What we did on our last trip was this. We had the meal plan, and every time we got a quick service meal, we made bottled water out of the drink. Then we would keep the bottle for the rest of the day, filling up at water fountains. I thought of bringing our own water bottles from home, but then we worry about losing them, or we'd be stuck holding them all day. We became connoisseurs of the water fountains in all the parks, and I will say this. The water fountains in the Animal Kingdom tasted the best, and Magic Kingdom, rather, was the worst. Epcot came in second, and Studios third. Do you agree? I always find the Magic Kingdom is the worst. It's always like warm water.
It's warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to bring the Crystal Light packets. It's the only way you can drink it.
Magic Kingdom is just, if you're desperate for water, that's free. The thing is, don't forget also about the free water. You can always go to any of the counter service restaurants and ask them for a cup of ice water, and it's for free. They'll just give it to you, and it tastes much better. The other comment I have is about PhotoPass card. I love the PhotoPass photographers. My sister and I were on a mission to get our picture taken at as many times as possible on our last trip. I pre-purchased the CD before we left, which saved us 20% on the CD. I'm not sure if they offer that option anymore, but it was a great deal. Very good. Well, thank you, Donna, for the info.
Yeah.
Next email is from Kevin from Bayton, or just played Bayton, North Carolina, who writes, by the way, the subject of this email is Annette's accent. Hi guys, and the fabulous one. I really wanted to encourage Annette to take pride in her southernness. If you want to hear a real southern accent, come hang out at my house for a while. Actually, those of us from the South would find it helpful if she would interpret what some of yous guys say on occasion.
See, Annette, you don't even have a real southern accent.
Well, I really don't, really. And it's because I'm in the RTP area. Grew up here.
The what?
But,
What, the what?
The who?
The RTP.
RTP?
Research Triangle Park. Scopa says some of the. I think he has a bigger accent than most of you guys. You guys, y'all.
You guys.
Y'all.
Next email is from Matt from Louisville, Kentucky. Wanted to hear Mr. Newell's and everyone else's thoughts about the upcoming. Okay, it's not upcoming. It's the rehab of Muppet Vision 3D. From my understanding, the rehab was going to actually make the film look a lot better with the digital projection instead of film. I love this idea, but what are your guys' thoughts on this rehab?
I think it's going to look terrific. In fact,
well, obviously I was kind of making that sound better, but what do you guys think of the rehab at Muppets?
I like it quite a bit. The display is clear. I haven't noticed the difference in the sound quality, but maybe it's because it's such a big theater. It's difficult to tell.
Yeah, I just saw it at the day we recorded this episode, and it looks fantastic. It's like night and day. It's the kind of thing that makes you say, I really wish they would fix Soarin' and make it this kind of a projection.
Oh yes,
because it just makes it look so much better.
In fact, Matt, a couple of episodes back, I had mentioned that I saw something for the first time I had never seen before, and that's at the end with Sweetums is in the film and also in front of the stage.
Yeah,
and
double Sweetums.
Yeah, and
I looked for that, Mike, when I
did you notice it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something
on the
I've
right
never
side, yeah.
Exactly. I had never seen that, and how many hundreds of times we'd seen that. I had never noticed that before. So that alone,
I don't think anyone had, Mike, and I think it's because it was just too blurry. Or
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's obvious they didn't reshoot it, so it must have been always there. Just didn't see it.
Where?
Second last email of the day is from Rob Cook, who writes, thanks for working so hard and making a great show. I just listened to your resort recommendations podcast and was wondering if you might offer some suggestions for one additional category of traveler, city dweller. My wife and I live in Busan, South Korea, a port city in Southeast Korea with about 3.6 million people. We don't have a car here, so only use the city's subways and buses. As such, we'd rather not rent a car and are very happy to rely solely on Disney Resort transportation. We're planning a trip for 2 years from now and would love if you guys could tell us which Disney resort do you think has the best and most efficient transportation system.
Oh, it's got to be one of the Magic Kingdom resorts.
That's what I'm thinking. One of the monorail resorts.
The Contemporary, I would say, just off the top of my head.
That's where I was going.
Does the Contemporary share a bus with the Poly and Grand Floridian?
It does, but I mean, you get to the Magic Kingdom by walking, or by monorail, or by boat, and you get to Epcot by monorail. So no matter what you do with the bus, it's still going to be a win.
True. I think you can't go wrong with any of the monorail resorts, right? In terms of
No,
that.
I
mean,
think that's it. Yeah.
The Poly would go with the same thing because you can actually walk to the TTC from the Poly.
yeah, Poly's
True.
got
Okay, and the Poly. Those. Okay, sure, right. Those.
Yeah, there's something to be said about being able to walk.
Yeah.
It's one
Right.
of the two.
Yeah,
Instead of
totally
going
agree.
all the way-
The Epcot resorts, the ones on the boardwalk, have an advantage, but I think their bus transportation is a little weaker. But you can walk to two different parks, which is a benefit right there. Because you can go to Epcot, you can walk to Epcot, you can even walk to the studios. There's also boat service for both.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, but then to get to the
The other parks, I think it's a little weaker. That's what I'm
But
saying.
that's a hike.
It is. It's not a short
That's a
walk.
hike to studios.
Yeah, so it's no benefit. It's a long walk to the studios. There's no benefit for the other three parks, whereas at least for
Only about a
the
mile.
Magic Kingdom parks, you've got a little bit more benefit.
All right, time for our last email today. I'll give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. One gets read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Ready, Mike?
I'll have the stuffing, Matt.
Easy, boy. That's tomorrow. We go over at Nets House.
Oh, we're doing questions? I thought you said appetizers. I could pick 3.
Your options are cheap alcohol with 2 exclamation points. Lines, 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 and lines again. Surfing dude.
Wow. Len, you up for a question on lines?
Sure.
Then let's go with Surfing Dude for...
Nice.
Nah, I'm kidding.
In the
Good.
words of Spaceballs, fooled you.
I skipped lines a couple weeks back, so let's do that, please.
You want to do that one?
Yes, please.
Would you make up your mind?
That
You know what the
was
funny thing is?
Huh?
I just noticed the surfing dude email and the lines, lines, lines is actually by the same guy.
Ooh.
Fine.
Okay.
So there you go. And the email's from Larry Palmer of Woodlands, Texas. WW Today and Touring Plans username Palmlart.
Hoorah.
Palmlart. Anyway. Oh, great ones and the most fabulous and great, Annette.
Ooh.
Thanks for all you guys do. It really makes a difference. I have a comment about the Lions program. You might have changed this already, but I have actually found that the actual wait times are more useful than the predicted wait times when you're in the park. Is there a way to get the latest posted time on the main screen instead of having to click on to another page to see what people have posted? Keep in mind that I did not have a smartphone, but was able to access the mobile page with the information. When we went there on our last trip, there were a plethora of Brazilians, and if they hit a ride, then the wait times jumped dramatically. Another point is that most of the times, the wait time for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was less than the predicted time. Keep up the great work.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I guess, I don't know, it might be an interesting idea, Len. What do you think about that? Having like the latest posted wait time, like that a user posted
Yeah,
on the attraction, like you'd have 2 columns maybe, the predicted time and the latest reported time?
it's interesting. Maybe we can do some sort of summary on the front page. Let me run it by Henry and see.
Henry?
Exactly.
I love how busy Henry is after we do a show.
We can discuss
Restaurant
that.
or champagne.
Yeah, we'll discuss it on that 4-hour flight from Orlando to LA.
To LA, right on. Exactly.
Reunion 20 to 11. That's going to do it for us today. Don't forget, this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And planning that next trip to Walt Disney World shouldn't be hard. It should be very easy for you because the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel are the perfect partners to help you plan that next trip to Walt Disney World. Again, it doesn't matter how advanced a WW geek you are or how novice you are. If you're brand new to it, great. If you're really advanced at it, even better. You're going to have someone there that can help you, can run ideas by. What do you think of doing this? What if I did, Kona Cafe for breakfast, then went to the Magic Kingdom, and then tried to do dinner somewhere else? What are your thoughts? It's a great sounding board, and they're going to partner with you to help you plan that trip. Just visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. Don't forget, our next live show is on this Sunday, November 28th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Details at www.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send your comments, visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.